Titan Fighting Championship CEO Jeff Aronson here on the program. Titan 42 coming up here pretty quick, December 2nd. Man, since you guys have moved to Florida, it's been kind of good for you guys, right? Before that, I was up in Kansas City, but now that you made the permanent move to Florida, have you been able to cut costs by being down there?
Yeah, I mean we've been able to cut a massive amount per show off just by being local, having our cage here, having our production team here, having our fighters. We're really cultivating the Florida market. So I'm not flying in nearly as many fighters as I was, and all those things have costs. So at the end of the day, making deals with venues, cutting the costs. Titan's never been in a better position. I mean, South Florida was the best move that we made by far and really strengthened us going into 2017.
Now, where every other, minor league, obviously everyone's minor league to the UFC and Bellator, every other minor league seems to be trying to expand and go to different places and increase their costs. I mean, you look at one of the oldest running promotions out there, they're like in, they're in like 52 different places throughout the year. It's crazy, like how people are trying to expand. And you do the exact opposite. Where you're like, no, we're trying to get smaller. We're trying to go back to being that real regional promotion where we only deal with South Florida and Florida. That's just we might go to up to Georgia, but only if you can drive in. Like that's what we're doing. We're not going. We're trying to expand. Why did you take that business model?
So very similar to Strikeforce before me. We saw that model, and we saw that Strikeforce was in a hotbed of MMA, and they were able to pull and cultivate local talent. Now, right within 20 miles, I have MMA Masters, I have ATT, I have Black Zillions, I have Freestyle Fighting Academy. I mean, I have more gyms than I could possibly rattle off to you that are top tier gyms. I have Cyborg's BJJ gym. I mean, there's just so much talent that comes into Florida, whether it be Brazilians or Russians or you name it. They're coming specifically to train here. So I'm seeing the best of the best in terms of young prospects coming in. So I'm getting first opportunity owning the market down here to get these guys and build them.
And so you spend all the time and effort building up the local economy. And then the moment that this kid, let's say it's, your main event, of course, is Lima versus Jackson coming up in 42.
Sure.
Lima, let's just say Lima. Lima wins. I'm not making a decision, not making a prediction, just saying a name. Sure. Lima wins. He's your champ. He gets picked up by the UFC the next week. You lose your champ. It's like so you spend all this time building these guys up, and then the UFC comes calling. Boom. Rightfully so, you let them go, but it also hurts your promotion. We've talked about it in the past. Yeah. You're saying now with South Florida, there's so much talent down there. It doesn't matter if they pick up your best guys because you have enough best guys underneath the pick.
I'm hoping that they do because what it does is it constantly keeps that flow and rotation, and it doesn't bottleneck up divisions. It allows fans to keep seeing fresh faces. It allows look, I have a kid on who's my interim flyweight title holder, Shorty Torres, who happens to not be from Florida, but I signed him because he was such an incredible amateur. I couldn't not sign him. He's arguably the hottest prospect at 125 in the country. He's 3-0. He's holding my title. I'm putting him up against Pedro Nobre on that card, and I have probably 15 125ers that are young, incredible talents ready to go. So I position myself to be able to cultivate this, get these kids into UFC. When they get into UFC, they announce them as Titan Fighting Championship, as Titan Fighting Champion, which is a great thing. It's fantastic for my promotion. So it's a win-win all around.
So just from a speech standpoint, from a media standpoint, it doesn't really make a difference. But say Shorty Torres has the belt, gets called up, and he leaves, but he doesn't get beat. He leaves. He goes with the belt with him. Do you then have to tell him, look, I need you to relinquish the belt so I can get another champion for this?
No.
How does it work?
I'll do a tournament of the top talent that we can find. We'll put them together, do a 4 or an 8-man tournament, and bring it down to a title, and that's the way we'll do it.
So it's actually I didn't realize that the and this is forgive me. I usually watch the UFC with the sound off
Sure.
because I have a separate thing I'm trying to
I
do.
understand.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to judge it like a real judge. So I
Sure.
can't listen to the banter because otherwise it throws off my judging. And I'm trying
Sure.
to ref it like a real ref, and I can't
Yeah.
listen to the banter. So I turn everything down. So I don't even know what the announcements, what Bruce is saying to the announcements. That's awesome that they're being announced as,
Yeah.
a Titan champion.
Yeah. No, it's phenomenal. I mean, we've, in the last few months, I think we've sent, just in the last few months, probably 15 guys up. I mean, that's insane. And the guys are doing well. Belil Muhammad is doing really well. He put on an incredible show out there. It's the guys are really, Tim Elliott's doing well in the house.
Yep.
But it's just the constant flow of guys going up there, and it works. The system works, and we're really happy.
You look at Legacy and RFA obviously just combined because Mick got moved up to being matchmaker for the UFC, so he had to leave Legacy, which he started as his baby.
Sure.
They're expanding and getting larger because they got picked up by somebody else.
Right.
So the potential was there for you guys to kind of get bought up, and there is a kind of it could be champion versus champion kind of league going on here pretty quickly between all.
I think we'll see that.
That's okay. So you are totally up for. I'm going to put Leva or Jackson, whoever wins. I'm going to put that guy up against whoever they have, and just see who's the best of the best.
100%. I've been calling for that for a while because I think that'd be a great thing. On a national level, the best of my talent against the best of your talent. Let's see who's really got the top guys out there, and it can be something that we do once, twice a year, and we put champions versus champions, and we have an all-star event. I'm totally down with it. I've spoken about it to other Fight Pass promotions. I've brought the idea up to, RFA and Legacy.
Yep.
I mean, I'd love to do it.
I think actually that would be awesome, especially too because it also sets up not only who's the best promotion, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it also sets up for the storylines. Oh, when they fought, when they fought for the best of the best at Titan and Legacy, Titan won. Here they are now fighting for the welterweight championship of the UFC. It's a rematch. Let's see who's going to win this one. It's a huge storyline if it gets that far,
Yeah, it works well. And it's something that we're certainly up for, and I think it'd be a lot of fun. I think it'd be a lot of fun for fans because fans are tuning in. I mean, Fight Pass is growing, by an exorbitant rate, and you know how many new eyeballs are going to be on Fight Pass once 205 happens. That's going to be the biggest show they've ever put on. There's going to be more eyeballs from more places, and it only benefits us, and it only benefits their tempo properties that they're partners with.
Well, let's talk about business for a second because I have this theory, and I could be wrong. I'm not in the business. I'm just a guy on the outside looking in. I don't write checks. I don't have to deal with overhead and all that crap. So 205 is the UFC's biggest card. It is the biggest MMA card of all time ever, anywhere of any MMA. By far.
Yep.
So obviously it's a big deal for the UFC. A lot of new eyeballs, like you said, are going to come watch this, starting with Fight Pass and working their way up through Fox Sports 1 and then getting into the pay-per-view. They're going to watch the entire card.
Yep.
Then they come in a month later and watch another card. They're so wowed by all these great names being on this one card at 205. And all of a sudden at 206, they're paying the same rate for that pay-per-view, but now they're at home and they're just a casual fan, not the diehard fan. The casual fan is going to go, oh, this is what happened. Then they get to 207, and they're like, all right, there's a couple good ones, but it wasn't like 205 when I came on.
Sure.
I kind of feel like that this card is so epic and that so many new eyeballs are going to come on it that people are going to be disappointed with the next ones, 206, 207, Fight Night 99 the next weekend because it's not going to be as good, and they don't understand, like, this is just how it works.
See, I have a different philosophy than you. Just from my perspective.
Yeah.
I think, like you said, the casual fan is coming in now because there's so much hype and buzz on this card. Casual fan, this may be the first time watching an event. They're ordering Fight Pass. Everybody's talking about it. They're doing it, right? They're going to see an amazing card. It's going to be Madison Square Garden, amazing card. Great. All they know is that they just saw great fights. They know the name Conor McGregor is on there. They know the name, but you know what? They saw great fights. And once you've seen great fights, as you know, you get hooked. You get hooked. It's like Dana said, it's in our DNA. We love to watch fights. We love to watch the battle. We love to watch it. So to me, now all of a sudden you're hooking all these casual fans that never gave it a chance before. And you know what? On that prelim, you're going to see advertisements for Titan.
Yeah.
Hey, tune in. I
Yeah.
can't wait. So
Yeah.
that's how I look at it. That's how I look at it.
That's actually a good side. I didn't think of that. That casual fan doesn't really know the names, doesn't care.
No,
He just
to
wants to see good
us,
fights. Yeah.
it matters to us. But it matters to us. But I don't think it matters to a first time watcher, a second time watcher, a third time watcher. I think they're enthralled. They've never, it's so exciting when you watch a UFC compared to baseball. It's like,
Yeah.
it's so, like you're having conversation with people that know and don't know, but everybody's got an opinion, and it changes by the second, and it's so fast, and it's an incredible sport to watch. It's from a fan's perspective. To me, it's the best sport to watch by far, and I just think that it will hook those fans and bring them in.
You made me think about it differently for sure, because I was like, man, they're really hurting themselves come the next ones. But now you're right, it's not like the casual.
I think the numbers are going to go up. I think their numbers are going to go up. I really do.
And when you're looking at Sports Center, and the number one thing they're talking about MMA is Conor McGregor making almost a 3-point shot, ugly as all crap, but it went in. And you're like, this dude can do everything. Like he can do everything. And so it's not the open workout. It's not the conversation with them after. It's the shot is all they care about.
Listen,
Madison Square Garden.
To me, I'm invested in this card on a different level. One of the guys that I scouted when I owned Alchemist, when I was Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, who I put into the UFC as a 4-0 or 5-0 MMA fighter, 57-0 kickboxer, and now he's fighting for the title. And watching the progression on a kid like that, and now on the biggest stage or the biggest card in the co-main event is incredible. So just from a personal perspective, I'm heavily invested in the card.
That's huge. It's a big deal for him. Yeah. All right, let's talk about 42. Let's talk about Titan 42.
Sure.
4 title fights.
Yep.
I mean, that's astronomical. The UFC has bailed away from doing that as much as they can. They got 3, obviously, but it's too hard time-wise.
Yeah.
How are you able to keep it? Is there a time restriction on Fight Pass for you guys? You only can go so long?
No.
Okay.
We don't have a time restriction. We don't have a blackout time. We're cool, and there are a lot of killers on this card, and there are a lot of killers going against killers. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of fights not going 5 rounds. I mean, which way, I don't know. I don't know. But you got finishers. If you look at the guys' records that are in those title fights, they're finishers.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I'm looking at Des Green right now. I'm looking at the fight card, but you got JZ Kawakani and Turnquest. That fight's not going the distance, and that's a 3-rounder. It's early. Des Green and Martin Brown. That's not going the distance. Both those guys are finishers. Then
Holloway, I don't think Holloway's going to go the distance.
No, he's the next fight. So now you're getting into the
championship
fights, and I'm looking at these things. I got to be honest with you. I don't see one. The main event might go the distance. That's the only one I can tell you that might go the distance. The rest of them are not going the distance. They're all getting out quick.
I'm with you. I totally agree.
How are you able to get these fights put together? Because, like you said, it's killer versus killer. So usually you've got a manager that steps in and goes, "Oh, hold on, we're not ready yet," or "We need more money," and they kind of broker themselves out of the deal. We never said no. We said we wanted it, but they just wouldn't come to terms. Well, because you asked for $100,000. Of course, you're going to come to terms.
So you've dealt with managers before?
Couple times. Times. Right. Unfortunately, one of them was my own. And that made it even worse. So how were you able to get these things together and keep them together?
Yeah, it wasn't easy. It was a long time building this card, and I give Lex massive credit because I've been busy with some new business endeavors. So the last couple months, I've been watching. I've been making sure we've been conferring and meeting. But he's running the show right now on the ground. I mean, and I give him massive credit because he made these fights happen. He hustled these fights. Like, he really hustled these fights. And a lot of them were touch and go till the signature was on the paper.
So now it's a question. Here we are at November 10th. The question then becomes keeping them from getting injured and having people pull out. And you guys have a great track record of, it seems like these guys tend to make it to the fight night. You know, they tend not to get hurt or not pull out. At least they might be hurt, but they don't pull out or make an announcement they're hurt. They're definitely coming in and they're fighting and giving us great fights. Like it's kind of surreal for a regional promotion to I gotta look. I gotta double check, but I think your record for keeping your fights together is better than the big promotions, better than UFC and Bellator.
Probably. Yeah.
Like you guys, like the guys just don't get hurt, or if they do get hurt, they don't care. They're coming in to make their money, and it's then even though they might be hurt, there's never a position where you're watching a fight and going, "Oh, that guy probably should have pulled out." You definitely tell that guy should have pulled out. No, they come and they bring it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you're doing or what's happening in the water down in Florida, but it seems like the guys always make it to fight day.
Yeah, we've been lucky. I mean, we've had our share, but we've always, even when there was an issue, we've been able to make a fight that was better than the fight that was going to happen. So, and I'll tell you a secret that I do, honestly. I wait as late as I can to book flights for all the guys, because I found that week before is when 90% of the injuries happen. That week before, that last sparring session, that's it. That's the one that boom, guy just got 8 stitches across his eyebrow and can't fight. So,
And you've cracked down the numbers, so you know that buying the ticket, a week before they're supposed to fly, even though it's so expensive, according to the regular fan, that like, wow, that's an expensive plane ticket, is way cheaper than buying it early and having to cancel that one and buy another one.
Buy a new one and yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
absolutely. So
this is business stuff. This is business stuff that the fans don't know about. The fans don't get that. This is the other stuff that goes on.
We always keep at least 1 or 2 fighters in each weight division on the side training that we take care of. That if we need somebody to step in, boom,
they're ready to step in.
Yeah,
and you tell them the dates, and you hit them up. Hey, look, we got a fight coming up. You're not officially on the card.
You're on the next card. You're on the next card. Be in shape. Be ready in case we need you.
Perfect. See, that's smart, and that's what Joe Silva said that to me years ago. Like, probably 15 years ago. He's like, yeah, the best way to take the opportunity that the UFC provides is be ready. Like, always be trained. Yeah. Don't need it. Don't let me call you and say, hey, we need you to fight in 3 weeks. You're like, oh, I haven't been training. I need an 8-week training camp. He goes,
I totally agree with him. Man, it's a great opportunity, and that's the way we do it.
And it's the way most guys should be within 3 weeks of a fight. You should be ready to go. Like I'm not training hard. I'm not going crazy. And I'm not calling like, hey, all of a sudden now you're going to fight Jason Jackson for the title. I'm not calling those things. But you're like, so you call me up, like I'm ready to go. 3-week notice. I'm ready to go. I can get in there.
I'll tell you one thing. That Jason Jackson's a nasty kid.
And I can't wait to see this fight, man.
He's nasty.
The only reason why I say that this could go the distance is because Diego, if he needs to, can slow the pace down. And slow it down and control it.
Jackson is fast. Mm-hmm. He's one of the fastest welterweights I've ever seen in my life. So although Diego may try and slow the pace down, I don't know if Jackson will allow the pace to slow. In terms of his movement, if he could keep that speed up for 5 rounds, I don't know. I mean, they're both 2 super tough guys.
Yeah.
Really 2 super tough guys. Tough fight to call.
And that's your main event. I'm really interested to see Jose Shorty Torres versus Pedro Nobre, the co-main event. Man, that kid, I can't tell you enough. I watched him fight when he was fighting for UMAF. For IMAF up at the national tournament or at the world tournament in Vegas. He's watched the kid. He's just an amazing athlete as an amateur. Like he was ready to go pro probably 10 fights before he went pro.
Right.
And wanted to go one more year. Like he wanted to go one more year because he wanted to finish school or something. He's like, no, I'm going to stay amateur one more year because I'm not ready yet. Like,
I know.
It's crazy. So
the nicest kid. Like I mean, one of the nicest kids. And I'm telling you, UFC is got such eyes on that kid. They're ready to grab him at any moment. I think a win over Pedro Nobre, I can't imagine that and obviously I hope Shorty stays around for a while. Because I think he's incredible. But I don't think that if he can beat Pedro Nobre, who's 18-2, who's only lost to Tim Elliott, and he lost in UFC in 1 fight. I mean, the guy he's like a beast. He's a real legitimate threat. 18-2 against 3-0.
Yeah, so that brings my next question. How were you able to get this thing sanctioned? Because in some commissions, this wouldn't be able to go.
Yeah, we had to go in and show Shorty's amateur record, his accolades, all his titles, to get this fight sanctioned.
Wow, that's awesome.
I didn't want this fight. I didn't want this fight because I thought it was too good, and I thought it was too fast, too soon.
Oh, okay.
Really, I thought, it was just too much, too quick, and Shorty was adamant about it. He was calling Lex every day. That he wanted Pedro Nobre. He felt Pedro Nobre was the best 125er on the roster, and he wanted to fight him. He was sure he could beat him.
Oh, that's awesome. I was
like, man, seriously?
I know.
You want to fight this dude? He's a world beater. He's 18-2. He's got so much experience. He was like, I'm finishing him. I'm not gonna beat him. I'm gonna finish him.
Just for the folks at home, so you know, if you can't get down to South Florida watching on Fight Pass, 4 title fights: heavyweight, bantamweight, flyweight, welterweight, all coming in the last 4 fights of the night on that card, and all legit super heavy killer versus killer fights, like named guys that for most fans know these guys automatically. If you're not real sure, within 2 or 3 clicks of your mouse, you're like, oh yeah, I remember that guy. Like it's those kind of guys. You're like, oh, I know that guy. Like you may not remember him right off the top of your head, but you'll get to one of his fights and you'll be like, oh yeah, that's right. I remember that.
Listen, it's scary when Hader Hassan is like the 3rd fight of the night.
Right? Like what happened with that? Like that's
I mean, that's how tight this card is. I mean, that's just every fight is like you said, killer versus killer. Yeah. Look at the records of the guys that are on the card.
4-0, 20-9, 10-3, 18-5, 10-5, 15-4. Like these aren't guys that just woke up last week and started fighting.
These guys 12-0 against 8-3. I mean, it's just
it's
nonstop.
Nuts. So, well, Jeff, congratulations, man. Much success. I hope 2016 rounds out great, and 17
Thank you, brother.
Just gets better, man. It's great. Thank you, because we got to have it. We got to have the minor leagues. We have to. Otherwise, the sport's going to fall apart.
We have to cultivate the talent at the root. We have to weed out who really are the guys that are going to be able to compete at those higher levels and the highest level. And we need promotions that are not just interested in showing bare knuckle bloodbaths, but we're looking and cultivating the best talent and making champions, making real champions for the future. And I think there are a lot of good promotions out there. And I think, like you said, it's very important that that we stick together, and we should be doing fights against each other because it's great for the fans' perspective. It brings more eyeballs, and it allows you to know the fighters even more when they get to UFC, and it creates storylines, like you said, and it's very important.
Yeah, it's huge. It's a huge deal. Jeff, thanks so much for coming on with us, man. Have a great rest of your day. We'll talk again soon.
Always a pleasure, Frank.